Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with. Today's my guest is Tad Mayer from Career Negotiations. Hey, Tad, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tad, one of the things I've been seeing in my business is just how high the turnover is in companies these days.
Yeah.
Someone comes to an event, I send you an email, hey, Tad, we have an event next month, and I get that bounce, Tad doesn't work here anymore. It's stunning. Do you see that on your side?
Absolutely. And what's going on is the dedication to companies has really gone down. And that's because, companies back in the day gave a pension or gave stable employment, and that's all gone. So companies have to earn that dedication in different ways. And the companies that aren't are losing people. And it's costing them because, the cost of replacing someone is between like 50% to over 200% of annual salary, depending on who they are. Entry level, closer to 50%, CEO, over 200%. But like you take your average person who's been there a couple of years, programmer, analyst, something like that, it takes about 120% of their annual salary to replace them.
Wow.
So if they leave in 2 years or less, that hurts.
It's interesting because one of my longtime friends, he's a funny guy, and he'll if you ask him, he'll tell you he's a mercenary. He's like, I will work for you, Tad, until someone offers me a better deal. And then I'm just going to go for the better deal. And he moves around every couple of years, but he feels, like you just said, he goes, there's no loyalty on the other side either, Kevin.
Right.
So I know if they find someone who's better than me, they may bump me. But that has to create tension on both sides though, right?
Sure it does. And so companies are scrambling to increase the employee engagement and create that dedication. And so what they're doing is they're trying really hard to understand the motivators and drivers of employees so that the employees will stay. And so it's things like, the obvious, they've got to have fair compensation and, it's competitive. If not, they're gone. But another one is skill development. They really have to continually train their employees in what the cutting edge skills are, because if they don't, the employee will feel, I remember the story of my uncle or whoever who worked at a company for 15 years doing the same thing. They were laid off. They found out that other companies were doing what they did differently with more modern technology. They didn't have the skills and they couldn't get a job. So these guys need those skills at all times. And if companies aren't training that way, they're going to lose them. Also, fun work environments, the ping pong table, the beanbag chairs, the bar, all that stuff is blurring the line between companies and home. And that's what employees want. So companies have to get on board and understand that. And they also need to give autonomy and added responsibility and promotional opportunities and things like understanding the tie between what someone does and how it impacts the customer. So the employees have purpose in what they're doing, all those kind of things.
But it's not as simple as it sounds, though, Tad, because now we have generational things where something that may be important to someone our age may not be important to someone who's 25. That's got to put a wrinkle in this, right?
It does put a wrinkle in it because that gap in understanding is real. And so there's a range. So in talent management, there's a range of, we need to do everything they're asking for because we need to create that dedication to, hey, why should we bend over backwards for these guys? We didn't have that, so why should they have that? And you can tell when you walk into a company which attitude they've got, and their turnover rate reflects it.
So now, Tad, how can you help companies with this issue?
In a number of ways, but where I'm most excited is what's creating real buzz with my clients right now, which is an approach called growth in place. And the idea is, especially for companies that are growing pretty fast, management and leadership is leaning on the managers of different business areas to identify opportunities in their own areas for how they can grow their own business. They're giving them autonomy. They're understanding the leaders are understanding that the managers are the experts in that area and challenging them to be entrepreneurs within the company to understand how they can grow that part of the business in a way that does two things. One, it fulfills the goals of the company, but also it meets the professional aspirations of that manager so they really re-engage with the job. And they get really excited about growing this and brainstorming with their team and brainstorming with their boss and finding what they can do. So, you picture the person who's been there a couple of years, they're starting to get, it's starting to get fairly routine. This reinvigorates that. So like, oh, well, we need to look for this new thing. And that's really gaining a lot of play, and a lot of people are pretty excited about it.
So, Tad, how can people reach out to you to learn more?
Website is careernegotiations.com. That's with an S. And that's the best way to reach me, careernegotiationswithans.com.
Tad, really appreciate taking time to come on the show.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It was great.
So you just watched 3 Questions with Ted Mayer from Career Negotiations, brought to you by the New England B2B Networking Group. For more information, visit our website at newenglandb2bnetworking.com.